Hello, my name's Sarita and I'm speaking to you today from Soulhenge, and I'm here to help you understand the truth about who you are. Now, what I wanted to share with you today was the importance of having a practice and how having a practice is absolutely intrinsic to self-awareness and changing your life. And I'm speaking really from experience here because having a practice has changed my life so exponentially. It's just extraordinary. And I'm 46 now and I am so unbelievably happy. I'm so peaceful. I'm healthy. I have a ton of energy. And when I look at myself the way I was in my 20s, I was nothing like that. I've just changed so much, and I just know that all of my change was from having a practice. Because when I was younger, like many of you, I was fairly invested in suffering, and I was invested in it in an unconscious way because, I'd suffered hurts and pain, things had happened to me, people I loved had died, I don't know, just so much stuff had happened to me, even by the time that I got to like 15, that, I was invested in suffering. I had accepted suffering and sadness and pain as who I was. And this is what happens to many of us here on earth, because earth is a dualistic dimension, it's a dualistic state of being, and we use the duality of our existence in order to learn things about who we are. Because the whole point of coming here is to evolve into a heightened state of awareness about the truth of who you are. And who you are is a fractal of source consciousness. You are a piece of God. You are a creator made manifest. And this is just far out for many people to grasp, because we've come out of the dark ages, come out of the industrial revolution, we've come out of, all that indoctrinated religion and all of that stuff, and we're still in this kind of dualistic reality where our powers have been like handed over to so many other people, doctors, education systems, politicians, all of that kind of stuff. We've literally handed over our power, and we've been a species who has been very invested in pain and fear. And as a species, what's happened is we've decided and we've behaved and been taught that we are that our brain, that this brain is the only important thing, and this brain as a consequence is running the show. But the problem with using this brain for running the show is it's your ego. It's invested in fear because its job is to keep you alive, and therefore it wants you to stay in a fear-based state so that you don't effect change in your life, because familiarity is safe. And so having a practice where you are rooted in understanding your subconscious patterns and beliefs and becoming more self-aware from the inside out is absolutely imperative if you want to change your life and become happy. And as I said, most of us, me included, have these subconscious programs and thought patterns that have kept us invested within the familiarity of pain, and I was no exception. And so what happened when I started having a daily practice is that my self-awareness started to expand at a massive rate. And the reason why this was because I made a decision to show up for myself every single day with love. And this is the whole thing, because when you make a decision to have a practice every day, no matter what, no matter how pissed off you're feeling, no matter how tired you are, no matter how ill you feel, no matter how anything, when you just show up for yourself for 10 minutes a day, it starts to make a huge difference. Because when you show up for yourself with love, with that kind of committed love, even for 10 minutes, you begin to align yourself with who you are, which is a soul having an experience in a physical body. Because the thing is, you are love. That's who you are. And it doesn't matter what anyone has told you, what you've invested your emotional, criteria in, what your personality is like. None of that matters, because the fact is that you are love, and no one can take that away from you, and it can never be changed. So when you show up for yourself with love, so you're going to give yourself 10 minutes a day, what you're doing by that very act is coming into an awareness of who you are. You align yourself with yourself. So it's like you align this expression of your soul, this physical third dimensional person, Sarita, aligns herself with my soul for those 10 minutes a day, and we meet. And the whole thing is, when you meet your soul, it's like you come into this vibration of love, and you kind of drop into your heart, because you're showing up with love, for the love of yourself. And what happens is, as you do your practice, you're committed to your practice begins to kind of infringe on your daily life. So what happened with me was, I started with a practice of 10 minutes a day. And then the practice started feeling so good that I started doing 20 minutes a day. And then that became an hour a day. And then for me, it's got longer and longer. And I meditate every single day for between 1 and sometimes 4 hours, depending what I'm doing. Because what I've realized is that when I align myself to love, A, I feel amazing, but B, the rest of my life is less effort, because when you're aligned to love, everything just comes to you. It just comes to you. So I don't have to deal with things like illness, which loads of people have to deal with because they're invested in fear. And trust me, I've been through that one. I was so invested in fear that I gave myself cancer. And that's time consuming. Do you know what I mean? So when you're doctor's appointments and feeling ill and you can't go to work and all that kind of stuff. But when you align yourself with love and you spend time with your practice, that time is not wasted, because it makes everything else simpler and easier, and things just start to arrive for yourself. And just little things like, if you've got loads of energy because you're doing a practice, because that's what it does for you, you get everything else done more quickly, or I do anyway. So that's what happens, is your practice starts to infringe on your daily life, and your practice and your daily life begin to merge with one another. And what happens is that the idea, what I've realized is to be in your practice in every waking moment, so that you become your practice, you become this alignment with your soul, you become love, you become the pure expression of who you actually are. And you're not wasting all your time and energy being invested in what you're not, which is all of those fear-based programs. And they were great. Fear is actually the most incredible thing, because it's a great learning tool. And without all of the dramas and traumas and whatever pain that I've had in my life, I would not even nearly be where I am now. So it's a great place to come from, because it shows you its contrast. So if you're really ill at the moment, say for example that you're really ill or really stressed, and you spend 10 minutes a day, and you start to notice that 10 minutes a day is really feeling good, you feel good for those 10 minutes, or your energy starts to flow, or you're clearing stuff, whatever those 10 minutes are doing for you, you're doing them in a state of love alignment. And that's why a practice is just the most incredible, gift you can give yourself ever. And obviously in terms of this, I'm talking about a meditation practice, but your practice could be yoga, your practice could be walking in the woods in your heart, your practice could be feeling joyful and playing with children. There are many ways to do a practice. Your practice might be painting or dancing. I love dancing as a practice. And so there are many, many ways that all of us can find practices where we come into this kind of heart-centered alignment of being in love. And then as you keep showing up for yourself, you're going to see that the practice is the thing that is going to change your life. So that's my take on why having a practice is the most important thing ever. And frankly, I would rather have my practice than do anything else in the world. And that shows you, how far I've come, because, I've come from a lot of, pain that I gave myself, and now I just don't do pain anymore. It just doesn't do it for me. I like love. So yeah. So there you go. I hope that's been helpful, and I really hope that you start a practice. Start a practice. It's amazing. It really will change your life. Thank you very much for listening. And if you would like to receive meditations and more free videos, then please just subscribe to my channel.